manifest my stories in, and that process built me up to make sure that my the next iteration of my story is a better one, and the next one after that is a better one, because I would see myself working on projects that would be amazing in this particular aspect of it, but then not lacking here. So just taking into account of trial and error, I felt like that was the pace in which I was working.
I'm really happy that you're here. Thank you for coming, making
Thank
the time.
you so much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for making the time. I'm really grateful. As you know, I'm in a place in life now where I am giving myself a bit more leeway to explore my creative side, and obviously I've made practical steps to doing that, like quitting the job that was bogging me down and starting my own creative projects and stuff. But considering you are one of the earliest people I interacted with who seemed to have a vision for the art, or just you seem to always execute on stuff that you thought about, and that's what I admired about you in the early days. It's
I appreciate that, man. Thanks.
Yeah, you had ideas and you were constantly cooking something. So I guess my first question would be, where did that come from, and do you see that in yourself? Is that something that you consciously do, or
you mean constantly cooking?
Yeah, constantly being in a creative mode and coming up with new ideas. One day you're doing stand-up comedy, the other day you're doing a play.
Yeah.
Where does that come from? Why do you do all this stuff?
Good question.
What's wrong with you, Ali?
I feel like maybe it's something to do with being bugged by boredom, or I always say it's better busy than being bored.
Okay.
You know, so and also I feel like my mind is constantly working on stories, and I feel like the best way to tell a certain story would be, let's say, through comedy or through drama, or through a skit, through a poem or that kind of thing. So yeah, I feel like it's just I don't want to seem too pretentious, but it's always a constant a hustle mode for me.
Okay.
And I think maybe it's because of the place where I'm from. I'm from a place called Gerezani, in Dar-Es-Salaam, and this is a place that's known for just a constant barrage of work, whether it's carpentry, plumbing, metalworks, and that kind of thing.
Okay.
So I've grown up seeing people just always on the run, on the walk. Trying to get materials from here, trying to sell it here, trying to buy it here, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's where it's come from.
Yeah. So speaking of where you come from, which is something that I'm also exploring within myself in terms of what are the things that make me who I am, what about the stuff that I grew up knowing, how does that affect me now? Let's go back, I guess, to the beginning, family, siblings.
Yeah. So family, my mom and dad were both born there.
Okay.
But my dad's side, they've been in Dar-Es-Salaam in Tanzania in general for about 700 years.
Oh, okay. So
that's,
how do you know that?
Because my granddad was a historian, and he was a really meticulous historian.
Nice.
He the son of and where they were.
Wow.
And my dad and my mom's side, they've been there for 2 generations.
Okay.
So they came in the 1940s.
Okay.
From Yemen. So they're both from Yemen.
Okay.
Just in different timelines.
Nice.
And they both grew up there as well, Dar-Es-Salaam. I grew up there until I was 10. And then I went to UAE. I was there for about 5 years.
UAE is...
United Arab Emirates.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry.
People,
yeah, no,
people
that's
just know
also,
It's Dubai.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I know that too, but it's an embarrassing moment for me. But I'm sure there's someone out there who asked us.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And then after that, I came back to TZ for 2 years. Then went to Malaysia for a year. And then I came here. Yeah.
Okay. Were your parents into the arts and stuff like that, or how did they raise you in terms of academics or your passions or whatever?
So my mom has this idea of like a career.
Okay.
And her idea of a career is wearing a suit, carrying a briefcase, and showing up on time.
Okay.
And I feel like you can do that with pretty much anything.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So in terms of the arts, she hasn't been like really vocal about it. Like in terms of support and stuff, but I know she enjoys my writings. Like I sent her videos of stuff that I've done, and she laughs, which is kind of nice.
What did you send her specifically?
I sent her like the play.
Okay. The examination.
Okay. Comedy skits.
Are those online, by the way?
A few.
Okay.
But they're not like for public yet because I'm still I'm still trying to grow it.
Okay.
Yeah. That's pretty much it.
Okay, cool. And so how about your dad? How was your dad like?
My dad is an interesting guy. He passed away when I was 5.
Okay.
But from my memories is he is a very outgoing guy.
Okay.
Explorer by nature, and I feel like I got that from him.
Yeah.
Just going into places where he's not familiar with, and just trying to find his way.
Yeah.
He's done that with business ventures, with trips, and that kind of thing.
So you think like that explorer in you comes from that side of the family, whereas like the put your head down and get it done comes from your mom.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Oh, my mom is so like that mentality. Yeah. Just get it done. Yeah.
Nice. So that's Dar-Es-Salaam and Tanzania. And so how did you move from TZ then to, you said you moved from TZ?
Yeah.
And then
went to the United Arab Emirates.
And then, so what was life like there?
Life was hot. That's the thing that I remember most. It's been constantly hot. And
culturally, was it a shock?
Yeah, it was a shock, as in like the Arab community in Dar-Es-Salaam is different from like when you go to an Arab country itself. So like growing up, it felt like because I grew up in my stepdad's house that was surrounded with DVDs and books. Okay. So
for all you youngins, DVDs or CDs.
Oh my God, I can't believe you have to say that now. When DVDs were a thing. Yeah. Oh wow. And okay. Yeah. I think growing up there really exposed me to reading and just watching movies a lot, because he was a big movie geek. Okay. And he had encyclopedias.
Oh, yes. For all you youngins out there, encyclopedias are books with information.
Information is like internet, but in books.
In a book form,
And like there are 23 volumes. From A to Z.
Yeah, my dad would buy all of them and not read a single one. I don't know
why. Let me find out what a gazelle is. Yeah. To the encyclopedia.
Yep. Straight.
Oh, wow. Yeah. So that was pretty much it, and most of my like my early teenage years were there.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's a very interesting time. What was navigating your teenagehood in another country like?
So my sister would say that I was a really boring teenager.
Okay.
But I think I had a pretty wild teenager.
She just doesn't know.
She doesn't know. I was very quiet, reserved. Until today, I feel like observing people just comes from my teenage years, because I used to just look at people in my school, just all the different groups of people and cliques.
It's so weird you say that, because I feel the exact same way. And one of the last people I spoke to for this podcast, who is also helping me put it together, he pretty much explained the same thing, just like literally growing up just observing people. And people not really knowing that that's what you're doing, but you've grown up your whole life doing it. And so like you have this weird insight of like, I get these human people, so why do they act like this? Like, why do they try and act like we don't see what's happening, kind of thing? So it's like it's like a weird, it's like a secret society that's so secret that other people don't, like, you don't talk about it with other people.
I know what you mean. It's so, because I felt like I was able to know, this is what a cool guy is, this is what a nerd is.
You have to start breaking those things down. Like, what is it at its essence? Like, I know this exists everywhere I go. What is this? Yeah, interesting. What was your most fun experience there as a teenager?
My most fun experience as a teenager, would have to be when I came back to Tanzania.
Okay.
And I was in this school talent show. And it actually started as a bet that someone said, you wouldn't be able to perform in the talent show. And I was like, you know what, I will.
I'll do it.
And the thing that I did was I sang Careless Whispers
by
George Michael.
Okay, I'm not familiar with
Careless Whispers of a good friend to the heart and mind. Okay, I'm totally off tune, but it's the story about this guy who cheated on his.
Yes, you sold it though. I could see the passion in your eyes.
Oh my God, that was I think that was the most fun and surreal experience that I had as a teenager.
Yeah.
Was because, I was singing this song, and then, around me, I choreographed a couple dances.
Of course you did.
And they were dancing except me. Because,
you're the singer.
Yeah, right? Because, part of the lyrics is that guilty feet got no rhythm.
Oh wow, you are deep. What? That's
it's
deep.
George Michael. It's not me. It's not.
No, because you also, was that in his video as well? Like, he wasn't moving in his video.
His video was just him with the girl.
Okay.
There was no dancers.
Okay.
And I hadn't seen the video at that time, so
okay.
I'm giving props to myself.
Yeah, that's a concept and a half. I'm like, what? That's crazy. So would you say that's was that your earliest memory of a performance then? Or?
Oh, no. The earliest memory of my performance would be, actually this is back in UAE.
Okay.
And we were doing an Indian song, like a dancing, a famous Indian song at that time. I'm not sure if it still is. It's like Das Bahane. And this is moved from a movie called Dust.
Okay.
And it is my first group dance.
Okay.
Choreographed. I think that's my first dance performance.
Were your parents there to see that, or?
I'm not sure if my mom was.
Okay.
Possibly.
Yeah.
I know my sister was. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Were you so you said you were a very observant kid, kind of I guess reserved. Would you say reserved?
Yeah.
Okay. And so, what was your school life like? Was study wise? Were you a school kid? Were you at school?
I really enjoyed school. Yeah. I constantly tried to do my best, and the thing is why, I say my best is, there was a time where I was competing academically with this guy called, you know what, I'll mention it because he's a huge part to my competitive side. His name is called Smick.
Okay.
And Smick was my 4th grade classmate. Okay. And we were constantly at each other's throat, trying to get the top mark.
Okay.
And so I would get, a 92, he would get 93, I would get 95, he'd get 90, and that kind of thing. Until the end of the year they give this award to like the top student.
Yeah, we had that too. Yeah.
And at the end, like they mention my name and I go collect it.
Yeah.
And then I look back and then I see him and I sort of give him this. Yeah, that's right. That's me. Okay. And after that, I feel like my competition, like my competitive side just died, or like it felt so empty. So from then on, I was just, bettering myself constantly, and I feel like that really helped me learn better and even get like better marks than what I would have. Than competing with a Smik. It was so crazy because everybody in my house knew who Smik was. I was constantly obsessed with him, talking about him. But yeah.
Okay, and so now you mentioned UAE, and that's your experience there. How many years were you there for?
5.
5 years, and then from UAE, then you moved to Vancouver, or
no? I was like I went back to Dar.
Oh yeah, you went back to Dar, and then spent how long there?
2 years.
Okay, and then you came here.
And then Malaysia for a year.
Oh yes, okay, wow, okay, you're all over the place. Yeah. Focus. So why the move back and forth between UAE and TZ? So why did you move back the first time?
Moving back from UAE to TZ?
Yeah.
Or just my mom just moved us back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And then so from TZ then to Malaysia.
Yeah.
What happened?
Because I had finished my O levels.
Okay.
In Dar.
Okay.
And then I went for sort of like my post-secondary.
Okay. What was your experience like in Malaysia?
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
I loved Malaysia so much. Yeah. I still do.
Was it's your mom's work that was taking you around like that? Or?
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just her own.
Just her own. My mom sort of like makes decisions.
Okay.
And she's the one who decided I would go to Malaysia.
Okay.
She came back home with a pamphlet.
That's all it took.
That's all it took. With the pamphlets, there's this Canadian pre-university program in Malaysia.
Okay. So it was a Canadian specific one.
Yeah.
Okay. So the plan was already to come to Canada.
Yeah. And I spent a year in Malaysia in this program called the Canadian Pre-University Program at Taylor's College. Okay. Sadly, it's been discontinued, which I feel is such a loss.
Why?
Because, I don't know, I feel like maybe the teachers left or something to do with the bigger college administration.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But that program was fantastic because it was the first time where I felt everything I did day in, day out mattered like to my grade rather than goofing around and then waiting for the week before the exams, just like hunking down and studying.
Yeah.
It was 70% coursework and 30% exams.
Oh, okay.
Across all grades.
Yeah. Sounds like IB. I did IB, and it's a similar idea. Like it's mostly coursework that's being done throughout the year and stuff like that, being evaluated, and then you still have exams too and stuff like that. But you're constantly in a state of like working on something. Yeah.
And I feel like that also helped me get into this mode of like constantly working on stuff. So I did a year there. It was fantastic. I loved Malaysia, still do. And then I came to Vancouver. Yeah.
Before we come to Vancouver, did you experience any culture shock or anything going your first month or so?
The culture shock was that it was like a Muslim country, but who weren't Arabs. So that was quite like a shock. Like not as in a shock I didn't know Arabs were not Muslims, but sort of like this is how a country is, and it was really lovely, really. The weather was tropical like home, just like with many more thunderstorms.
It's nice. And so life was good in Malaysia. then you transferred then from there to come to Canada?
Yeah, like through a 6-month detour back home.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice. So what was your experience coming to, first of all, the decision to come to Canada eventually, that was still part of your mom's plan?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
what do we call it? Criteria was that, it's not the US and the UK because it's less quiet.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
And were you always with the decision? Like, or were you just like, okay?
Yeah.
I
was very...
you weren't really thinking about it. Okay.
Yeah.
And so fast forward to you finally moved to Canada. And when you arrive in Vancouver, and did you start school straight away, or? Yeah.
Start school straight away.
Mm-hmm.
Man,
which
the
school?
Cold.
You went straight into SFU?
FIC.
Oh, FIC.
Yeah,
okay.
FIC through a year, and then it was a few. But I remember
FIC is Fraser International College, for those who don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I just remember it being really cold. Yeah.
And, what month was it?
It was January.
Oh,
in
man.
the dead of winter.
Oh, man.
Well, the winter in Vancouver. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really gloomy for me.
Yeah.
But then things started, like the summer came and it's not too bad.
Mm-hmm.
I started traveling more around Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
The second year, actually, I did a sort of a trip to BC interior.
Okay.
Just checked out like the small towns. So that was nice.
Yeah. So what? I mean, I guess that's the explorer side in you, because the last thing I was trying to do was like travel around this place that is just like, I'm confused, I'm scared, I'm anxious, I'm like, I'm not
What
sure.
made you anxious?
So the thing is, for me, I guess my journey was different because I always knew I was going to go abroad to study, just because it was in the family. My siblings had all done it.
Yeah.
And so I decided to... The only thing I didn't want to do was go where they were, because I didn't want to be babied, because I'm the last one.
Of course, yeah.
So I was like, let me choose. So once we got a bunch of presentations from Canadian institutions in high school, the idea of Canada came into my mind.
Okay.
And so then I eventually applied and came to Canada. I was like, okay, I'll be abroad. I'll get that experience I want, but I'll be away from my siblings, not too far away.
Yeah,
so it was like, okay, this works. And obviously I had friends who were like, we were all trying to leave the country because it was this exciting idea of like
course,
a new life and all that stuff.
New chapter.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So... I mean, then I actually did it and realized what it actually meant. It wasn't just like, I wasn't going to like party for a month and then go back home. It was like, now go start your life now. Like, and you know nothing about this place, and then the depression kicks in, and then financial struggles, etc. So like, I in my first, say, 2 years, I would always travel around like different neighborhoods just to figure my way around. But as far as going out of the mainland area, that was not in the picture for me. So I'm giving you props, because it's like, I guess you weren't in the same mind state, so you obviously made different decisions, right? Or did you experience
So I feel like the 3 years I spent uni here were done in a hurried state of mind.
Okay.
So it was like I did a lot of courses within a semester that I could. Mostly done with, like, for example, there was a course that had 3 credits, and there was another course that had 4 credits. I'd rather do 4 credits just like to build up. Just to move through.
Okay.
So, and then like the decision to make the trip going into the interior was based out of the realization that I had spent a year and a half in Vancouver in one city.
Yes.
Like, oh no.
Yeah.
I feel like something is like you get that itch.
You get an itch, yeah.
You get an itch of just trying to see, so what's the other sides of Canada that I've not been exposed to, you know?
And that's where I am now personally, so I understand it now. Yeah.
So have you traveled outside Vancouver?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I mean, I was telling you a while ago when we met that the last summer 2017, I like took advantage of like all the hikes out of town
Yes, I
and
remember.
stuff. Yeah, so I did a lot of that, especially in 2017.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And
How was that?
Yeah, it was amazing. I mean, like, I was even telling you the whole beautiful British Columbia thing.
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
like, it's so corny as a tag, but then I see why someone would pick a corny tag like that.
Yeah,
Because it is actually very beautiful out there. And even in Vancouver, there's little places here and there that you can go and it's like, wow, like experience that same kind of beauty. But like Squamish and all these other places, it's just like, it's unmatched, you know. So definitely. And also just that feeling of I'm here, but like I want to spread my reach outside of, like, I want to feel like I'm really here.
Yeah,
like I'm not just in a room in this city. Like
Exactly,
I'm here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So
I know what you mean, yeah.
that's where I was going. So clearly I was the only one depressed as a new student. But so you kind of rushed through uni, did your hard work. What were you studying?
So I did Binglish.
Okay.
Binglish.
Binglish.
Saying business and English.
Okay. That's a good one, though.
Yeah. So like I ended up TAing like a business, and for my English courses, it came out of a decision when I took my first English class with this professor called Torsten Kehler, and I was just inspired by him. And I ended up taking 7 more courses throughout.
Nice.
Because the good thing was that he was constantly, teaching higher level.
Oh, nice.
And then he was there for a while, so he would make up his own courses.
So you stuck with him, yeah. That's so cool. I've never heard of that before.
Yeah, man. I highly recommend if anyone is wants to take an English class, look out for a guy called Torsten Kehler. He's actually, like, his first name is actually like the root word of Thor, because he's from Denmark.
Oh, wow. Okay. Epic.
He would say that in his first class.
I'm sure he did. No, shout out to all the like teachers that actually inspire people and not just instruct them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, man. It's such a difference, because you'd have researching teachers who teach, and then you have teaching teachers who sort of do the research. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Do you have any other people during your university career that kind of gave you that? So he gave you that inspiration to continue with English, and why was English something that you wanted to get deeper into? What is it about English that he made?
Because I'd grown up like reading and writing as much as I could, especially when I'm constantly curious of what like another person is like, or another situation is. English gave me the chance to enter into worlds where you are building more empathy.
Okay.
You're getting to understand like another point of view, how people see things, experience things. One thing that feels great to you is a terrible thing to another person.
Yeah. All the stuff that actually matters, but people kind of shun as not serious enough.
Yeah. It's like the soft skills.
The soft skills,
yep. And also, because I'm a stutterer, English, they give me the chance to play even more creatively with words. So just because I had grown up with this idea that I need to know as many words as possible, because you never know which one is the easiest one to say at any particular moment.
That's interesting.
And just writing became easy for me.
Okay. I also like the fact that you embrace like your stamp. I remember you actually did something the other day on social media to do with like your stammer.
Yeah.
Just let the people know what.
So like last year in September, I had started writing this one-man comedy storytelling show called The Fun Talker, which is basically recounting like the past 20 years I've been living with a stammer.
Okay.
And just ways how I've navigated like through school, life, love, work. and I feel like my stammer has been the driving force through which I encounter new stories. So growing up, my mom would be telling me, like, you know, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't stutter, and I would not do it like in public. So like in class,
wow.
I found a way to convince everyone that I was the best speaker, the most normal speaker ever.
Wow.
You know, and the funny thing is that when I'm with her, and that's when like I stutter.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
And I feel like it has to do with like intimacy. And that's how I started the show, The Fun Talker, because...
Could you explain that a bit more? What do you mean by like that intimacy idea?
So, when you have a situation where you're presenting something, you feel nothing, right? So, like, these are all strangers, right? And you're presenting something which is outside of yourself. There's no real connection to you, so you have sort of these words just being spoken out, right? But then I feel like the longer like I've been with someone, that's when I start to stutter. And through comedy I've been able to sort of what's the word, like minimize the time, because the shortest distance between people is laughter. So the moment I start the show, I start like the stammer is just part of me there and then. Like I'm not pretending anything. And that's what I experienced when I was doing the show recently, like in New Zealand and Australia.
Oh yes, we need to talk about that too.
And then hopefully like want to do it here soon.
Okay. So do you think that inspired your art as well?
Yes. Definitely. A lot of my art is based around telling stories. So telling stories that haven't been told in this particular way, like in this unique way. And the idea of that comes from one of my favorite words, Shwanga, which is a Swahili word, and my meaning for it is whatever has happened before and whatever is going to happen next cannot replicate what is happening right now. So it's like ultra uniqueness. There is no way you can replicate Nyex. There's no way you can replicate me. So whatever I'm doing has to be told in like in its purest form. Yeah.
I feel what you're saying. I can't repeat it, but I feel what you're saying. Yeah.
A lot of people have told me this.
Yeah, really? Okay, I'm glad I'm done.
Because I'm still trying to find ways and sort of grounding Shwanga. It's I guess the other way you could describe it is being at peace with your own peculiarity.
Yeah, I think for me, what comes into my mind when you're talking about that ultra uniqueness, at least I think I was sort of battling with that similar idea when I was doing my other podcast, because the idea was I would sit in the studio and then just talk.
Oh, okay.
And so that's basically what I do with the other podcast. And so I just sit and I just talk, and all the conversations I've been having inside, like just let them out. And the thing is, it's weird because you feel yourself pushing you feel yourself restricting yourself.
Censoring it.
Yeah,
Yes.
you feel yourself doing that a lot. And I even talked about it in one of the early episodes. I was like, I've been trying to do this for weeks, and I've been uploading and deleting because I know what the most honest form of what I'm trying to say is.
Yes.
But it's not coming out because I keep stopping myself.
Exactly.
Yeah. So.
And I feel like that has a lot to do personally for me with my stutter. Is when I'm trying to reevaluate the words, when I'm trying to say, is this what I mean, or is this the word that's the easiest to come out? What
it seems to me is like a stutter is like an outward representation of that process. It feels like it feels like it's just it's a mechanical translation of what I was going through, pretty much. That's what it's starting to look like that to me, because it feels like, I don't know, that's what I'm getting when you're saying that.
So like, were you having a different way of saying the stuff that you meant, or?
Yeah. Okay. So I would obviously sugarcoat some stuff. I would obviously.
You're not being real.
Of course. It's like the not being real, but there's also literally just the words coming out of my mouth are not doing it. Like, it's not.
You're not capturing what you're saying.
At all. And there's no reason for it not to be happening because there's no one around. It's me alone in the studio.
Wow.
But for some reason, I keep playing these mental gymnastics with myself. And stopping the actual thing from coming out. Yeah.
Man, that is. I wish I was there watching this.
It was a weird process. But I think it goes. It's all just. It's kind of like the space I've been in since part of last year, all of this year so far, and just trying to find my honest voice and in whatever I do.
But what is that? What do you think is an honest voice? Because I feel like when you say an honest voice is something that can have severe repercussions.
True. That's a tough one. I think so. Here's how I see it. It's honest because, it's not malicious. That's for sure. I think the intention. I think intention is where it all begins. So my intention of saying that I don't like the sweater you're wearing or whatever. The intention. So here it goes. I see you on the street.
Yes.
There's the immediate feeling. The immediate feeling I have is I don't like this guy. And so, but somehow it manifests as I don't like the sweater you're wearing. But if the gut reaction was I just don't like that sweater, then it's like when you say it, saying it, that's political because why would you say it to a stranger or whatever? But you know what I'm trying to say? It's like if the feeling was the sweater doesn't look good, I find it okay. If that's what the feeling was.
I see.
If the feeling was I don't like this guy and so F his sweater, that's like, I guess that's how I gauge it.
Okay.
So for me, at least my podcast, and also depends on what the table you've set. So for me, the podcast was I want to talk about my life and my experiences as I go through them. So my life, my experiences, and how I go through them, and being honest about what I truly think about something, because I do stuff in my life, but I cut myself slack. We all cut ourselves slack with certain things. But we don't say that because it's embarrassing. And so I want to cut out that process of cutting myself slack even when I'm saying things about my own life. When I say something happened, I have to bring in all the aspects surrounding all that happened, including the things I did wrong in that moment. So even if you are wrong too, I have to say how I was wrong as well, and not just leave it, not just let you like walk out and tell your truth and then stay safely here, but say and then I did this too, and then I was vindictive in this way, and and like just, you know what I mean? So I think it's intention, and like I have no idea where I was going, but I think it's all about intention.
I see what you mean. Yeah.
Just what the expectations you're raising are, because you're keeping yourself safe by not saying the things you know that will crumble the dream or the bubble or will bust the bubble. It's about exposing and just like showing it all rather than showing only parts of
being
it.
raw. Yeah.
So I don't know. That's how
I appreciate that. Wow. Yeah. I like that definition.
Yeah. So I think maybe I do understand where you're coming from, but like you said, it's hard to like wrap it up in a bow.
It's so hard. Yeah. There's certain experiences, people, situations where I feel like, oh, this is a great example of what Shwanga means to me. And I try and do that into everything that I am part of. So
would you say then like Shwanga is like that's like your centering force?
Centering force for sure.
Okay, and you said that's actually a word in Swahili.
A Swahili word, but a lot of people say like, oh, that doesn't mean anything, it's a slang.
Okay.
But to me, it's so true that it's like, that's actually a word.
Okay, nice.
And if it doesn't have a meaning, I guess now it has.
You've given it a meaning. Nice. What is the most exciting thing you've worked on up to this point?
Exciting thing I've worked on up to this point.
The most Shwangest thing that you've ever done so
I think
far.
would have to be this recent project, the Fun Talker.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay, nice.
The Fun Talker is, and I feel like it is the most Shwanga thing because it is just a guy on a stage telling you about the speech impediment, and through that way, like I don't want it to be seen as a speech impediment, but just as a speech pattern. This is how people talk, and trying to make a person speak fluently, and I say fluently in quotation marks, is very oppressive, because that just means you don't like the way they talk.
It's a value it's you. It's your own value. You're trying to.
It's a value. Yeah, absolutely. It's value judgment. And I remember when I was doing the show, a lot of people came afterwards and said that they were aware, like for the first time, they were in a comedy show that they listened to every word. And that meant so much to me because I was like, wow, I did not just blabber. I didn't just go up there and just, rant. So I kept a lot of care into every word that was said in the show. And the thing that I wanted to stay away from was noise and distractions. So that could be like, let's say, setting, excessive lighting or music. It was just raw. It's just a person doing a storytelling on a stage, and that felt to me was the most pure form of telling us a story about a stutter, because everything else would sort of what's the word? Like become an obstacle.
Okay. Okay.
The English major is asking.
Yeah, right. What's wrong with this guy? So, do you get nervous when you go on stage to perform?
Yes, I do. Yeah.
Oh,
I try and get nervous every time because I feel like...
You try and get nervous?
Yeah, because I feel like that's when I'll do my best work.
So you don't get nervous, you have to put it on yourself.
I'll be like, oh, this is it.
Wow.
This is it. This is like my first show and my last show.
Because I get that sense from you sometimes, because you don't usually talk about your projects like someone who would be... Because whenever I speak to you, it's always about the idea. It's never about like the logistics or like oh man, I'm like,
and that's the flaw. I've been told that.
No,
you know.
I mean what I mean is like, I mean, I don't mean logistics stuff of planning, because I don't know how you are with time management and all that stuff, but I don't know. I feel like if I was putting together a play, people would know that me being nervous on stage would be something we're talking about. Me, like, I'm like, oh, I need time to like go here and practice this, or I'm sure you practice, but that doesn't ever seem to be the thing, which I admire, because it's like you seem to be very into your ideas and like you want to really flesh them out, and you're worried. No, your worries are never like what people, at least from what I see, it doesn't look like your worry is what people will think. It's just like, I really hope they'll see what I'm trying to say. Like, it's never, I hope they'll like me, or
I've tried really hard to remove that from like my focus. The outcomes are purely based on whether the essence of my particular story like has reached. Because if that hasn't reached, and then like I've just gone back to the drawing board and revise it. But in terms of, again, as I say, like a value judgment, you can't be like everything to everyone.
To
right?
everyone.
Yeah.
True. Yeah.
And like I really appreciate, because the people who've come to like my shows or have seen my stories, they have brought back people, and the people who have seen the same thing in me. So at least like that way, I'm able to know there is an audience for us, like for my stories, in whatever form they're presented.
Definitely.
So that has also driven me to explore more ways, because to define is to limit.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, you wanna have as many, because you can't say everything in one way.
Yeah,
So,
it's impossible.
Yeah.
Like the world is so diverse, and I see this more as I travel, because you are you're constantly meeting people who see things in a different way, and you're saying, oh, this person would never read a book. Exactly. This person would never watch a film. This person would never come to a live show with other people around. They would rather do something solitary or something like that.
Yep.
So like a huge part of my job is to try something and then see, oh, if I can't do it that way, and then I'll try a different version of it, and then maybe it's gonna come closer to my central theme of Shwanga. It doesn't have to be a particular genre or category. Because the focus is the conveyance of that story.
Yeah, true. And we recently talked about some of your recent travels, and you mentioned you went to New Zealand. Would you mind giving us a...
Man, that was really exciting.
What was that?
That was incredible. I went to New Zealand, and the moment I reached was...
Tell them why you went to New Zealand.
Oh, okay. Sorry, this is what happened. I get ahead of myself. So I went there for the Fringe Festival. And the Fringe Festival is when artists have new works and they're presenting them with the aim of developing it further. And I felt like the Fun Talker was the perfect project for this. So like I go to New Zealand, I did 2 Fringe festivals there, and then I did another Fringe festival in Newcastle, Australia. Okay. But going to New Zealand was quite an epic journey, because the moment I reached, I felt like, I'm not sure if you felt this way as well, is you've been in a place where you feel like you've been there.
I've heard of it. I've never experienced it.
Never experienced that?
Yeah.
Oh man, yes. Because when I was in Auckland, it felt like, oh, this is like Dar-Es-Salaam, this is like UAE, this is like Kuala Lumpur, this is like Vancouver.
Okay.
It's like all those places that I've traveled to, but they're in one place.
Oh.
And that's the feeling that I got. I'm not sure how to explain it.
Yeah.
But it felt like home. Yeah.
Wow. What does home feel like for you?
Home is like a place where you can exist without like preconceptions. And I feel like traveling itself does it for me. Look, because when you're traveling and somebody meets you like during your travels, you are like they've no idea who you are, what you're gonna do. It's just you and your luggage. And I feel like that's a place where I am comfortable. So like home is movement. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if that's.
I think everyone has their own definition. I don't know what home would be for me. For me, home is. I'll start basic. Like for me, home is food and laughter. And food and laughter and legacy. Food, laughter, legacy.
What do you mean by legacy?
I mean nieces and nephews, but also grandparents.
Oh, I see.
And our ancestors and whatever they taught us, and however we bring in a new generation, and it's being like having that comfort, of course, and just celebrating within, like not caring about how other people celebrate birthdays, but we have our own little get-togethers and rituals that we always do in our own way.
Yeah,
and it's like it just always works. Home always works.
I love that. Yeah. So home is a particular place for you. Like it's not a feeling.
It's a feeling.
Yeah. Okay.
I think all those are kind of like feelings, because. But then the thing is, for me, obviously, all those experiences happened in Kenya.
I see what you mean.
Yeah. So, but in living in Vancouver for now 6 years and interacting with people and being in the space I'm in now, the definition is definitely expanding, and I can see how I would build a home elsewhere.
Oh, okay.
I think for me, home is something you build as well.
Yeah.
So maybe for me, home is not always a feeling, but it's also a project kind of a thing, but it's not conscious, but there's effort that needs to go into building home. There's trust and all that type of stuff. So I'm starting to see those ways that can happen here. Okay. So for me, like home has been Kenya, of course, but even because now going to Kenya feels weird now.
It feels like you're traveling. I
feel like a stranger almost.
Yeah.
So. But I remember all the feelings I attached to it. But now I have those things in a box somewhere. All the tools I feel like let me not say I have all of them. But I've been collecting certain tools throughout my life based off of that experience of home. And I feel like I can now slowly start to like lay the foundation for my own version elsewhere. And it doesn't have to be in one place.
Oh, that's good. Yeah.
So I guess
I like that.
That's how I look at it.
That's very practical. I like
I guess there's always, I've noticed everything I always say ends up with a practical element. It's like
that's important.
Yeah, but so home. Where are we going with this? Honestly, no. So New Zealand, yes, your experience at the Fringe Festival.
Yeah.
What was it? What was the reception to your presentation and everything?
Oh. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good. I feel like there was potential to even further improve the way I could tell the story. Because now that it worked in its purest form, I could see that especially like watching the other shows, because they felt like they started from also like a place of simplicity, where there was not much coordination needed, because it's just one person. And that reception, it gave me the drive to improve it for the following show and the next one after that, especially after I went from Auckland to Dunedin, which is like the south of New Zealand.
Okay.
Which, by the way, was a mistake, because when I was packing, I just took like warm clothes.
Oh.
And then I forgot that New Zealand is the third country closest to Antarctica. So they get the like Antarctic winds.
Yeah. Oh, yikes.
And yeah, like I had to buy clothes.
Wow. And what are the people like?
Kiwis. Have you seen Thor Ragnarok?
No.
No? Okay. So like the director is Taika Waititi, who's from New Zealand, and he brought a very different vibe to a normal superhero movie.
Okay.
Through Thor, and that's why like became such a huge success. And I felt that being replicated when I was going through New Zealand, because a sense of goofiness just permeated throughout like the psyche of the people there. So like through through arts, politics, finance, people just seemed to have like a lackadaisical approach.
I see where I see why you identified home there too, because like I think of Kenya, and I'm assuming East African politics in general. Just a lot of the things we do are so comical. Our news is comical. Our politicians, our policemen, everyone is a comedian almost, kind of a thing. It's just like you can never take anyone 100% seriously.
Yeah. I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Because like when you and the thing which really cracked me up is when I was holding a drink, and I turned it, and where the back you would see ingredients or regulations, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
They had sarcastic remarks like, "What do you think you're drinking? Poison?" And I'm like, "This is a serious drink. Like, it's not even a goofy kid's drink." So yeah, I also had this guy who really cracked me up. Was walking, like I wanted to go to the university, and I asked him for, do you know where the university is? And he just said, yeah. And
that's classic.
And I'm like, it took me a second. I'm like,
is he serious?
Can you show me where it is? Because it was incredibly goofy.
I feel like you could find a watchman somewhere in Kenya who would do something similar. Just like,
I bet.
Yeah, it's like, Leza nyonyesha paliko.
It's like an extra push.
Yeah, it's like that.
An extra push. Another way I would describe like the people there would be they gave a lot of hugs.
Oh, okay.
But zero fucks. I'm not sure if I can swear, but
no, you can definitely. Yeah.
But like no one give any particular care about why you're there. But since you were there and you meant no harm, you were family. Yeah.
Wow.
It was a really beautiful experience, just traveling and performing there.
Yeah. Do you see yourself possibly moving there, or?
Oh man, if the chance comes,
yeah.
Oh, no, why not? Why not? The spaciousness also played a huge factor of feeling like you are nothing and everything. And why I say this is because it's the exact quote by a Maori guy there. Because I approached him and I asked him, so why do you have all this tattoos across your face and stuff? And he gave me like a quick crash course on the symbols for wind, symbols for earth, fire, where we are from earth. Like everything that's in New Zealand, these people have connected with it. And they are nothing at the same time. So they're everything and nothing. And I felt that a lot because you just see these rolling hills, sheep.
Is it a very... What is it? Is it... There's no concrete jungles there? Or is it...
No.
Oh, okay. It makes sense.
So spacious.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what you're describing could only come with like a place that's not so urbanized. That's a very... At least, I don't know if it's you just being very good with your words, but what I'm getting the sense of is like they have they're so in touch, just generally.
Very in touch, especially with the Maori traditions. They've made it a point to make it part of normal daily nomenclature.
I think that's so important because like with where I am, when you're trying to break out of things that are not benefiting you or whatever, just in terms of my own personal life, getting to stuff that actually feeds me and being honest with myself, there's a breakdown process and then there's also like a building up. So the breakdown involves like it's like throwing the tomatoes at yourself, and then accepting it, but then also like not letting it like take control of you or anything, and just know that okay, life goes on. Let's continue growing, kind of a thing. So it's like that idea of, at least to me, how it's translating is like that idea of they are everything and nothing. By being everything, you are so attached to the world around you, but then you're nothing because you're just a particle in the wind, kind of a thing. So it's like
your insignificance just becomes amplified, and just being in certain areas, I tried to document as much as I could, but there were certain times where I was like, man, I am like at the bottom of the world. You know what I mean? Like I'm just here, surrounded by everything else, because you would be in situations where there wouldn't be like a town for like 100 kilometers, and it's just like, especially when I took a bus, you would be like across the coastlines, and you just see seals and oceans. I mean, like the waves, and you feel when you are in a place of peace. But then there are things like just like nature is just happening. I feel at a loss of words, to be honest, because
it's hard to explain. I feel like I get it, because like this makes me think about how I now think about the earth and humans and stuff like that, because I know I suck at scientific theories. I'm not gonna get any of this right, but I'll get like the gist. Basically, like the Big Bang was an explosion, and a bunch of particles like spread out, and one of those teeny tiny particles is us, right? And so, sure, like we're humans and we have societies, and we're so attached to the fact that like we're speaking English, we're like walking, and we are like, we have skin color and we have hair and stuff like that. But it's like we're just a particle of an explosion, though. Like we're just the continuation of an explosion, kind of a thing. So we're so attached to our presence, but it's like we don't think about how we're part of a bigger process.
We're constantly evolving.
And it's just we're moving through space, and whatever is hitting the earth and whatever is gonna define this, that, and the other, this attachment we have to being human is just us surviving that process. Pretty much.
And like being human is it's something that I'm constantly trying to remind myself, because you can feel at times where you are not doing enough, but the fact that you're able to be human is like a full-time profession.
It's a lot. Yeah.
And like we have the saying in Swahili, ubinadamu ni kazi, which is, being human is work.
Yeah.
And I felt that being reiterated, especially the place where I grew up, because you'd have people who are going through so much, but the fact that they can come in and help you think, make you smile, laugh, it's so nice to know that you can overcome things and be joyful.
Yeah.
And being joyful is
valuable. It's like it's an actual commodity kind of a thing. It's an actual, someone did something to produce that.
Yes.
Yeah.
And because I'm constantly reminding myself of what Gerezani felt like to me, and you would hear laughter in the streets.
Okay.
And like coming to places in Vancouver where you rarely hear that, because people are constantly just sullen or
just
something
walking.
else, and you'd have to go to a particular room to get laughter.
Yes, that's the thing.
That is an insane.
That it's been commoditized.
Yeah.
Like that. We commodity. That's what I'm saying about the attachment. It's like we're so attached to the human translation of how we can do those things. So like laughter, pleasure, or like any kind of pleasure or meditation, we have to go to a church to do such and such, and we have to do this in this room, and we have to do that in this, and you can only pray here or this time,
and everything is just here.
It's all happening.
It's all within.
Yeah. No, that's pretty cool, man. I 100%. That's a lot of what I've been thinking about.
Man, I'm glad it makes sense.
It makes sense to me. I don't know if everyone else out there understands anything.
I'm sure they will.
Yeah, but I 100% feel you on that. What do you think is the biggest lesson you learned from? I guess I'll ask from different stages. So, in uni, what was the biggest lesson you learned in uni about yourself?
I am. Trial and error.
Okay.
Like, is a real thing. I feel like I tried as many things as I could manifest my stories in, and that process built me up to make sure that my next the next iteration of my story is a better one, and the next one after that is a better one, because I would see myself working on projects that would be amazing in this particular aspect of it, but then not lacking here. So just taking into account of trial and error, I felt like that was the pace in which I was working at, throughout uni, academically, a community involvement,
and how about, so what about now your experience out of uni, working
grad life?
Grad life, and just even your travels to New Zealand. What have you learned so far in those?
Faith in myself has been compounded, and I feel like the more I challenge myself, the more I I compare my own work, the better sense of a perfection I get, because when you're comparing your journey with another person, there is so much joy being lost that it's almost like it's crazy. It's an insane sin. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's why would
you do that to yourself?
Why would you do that to yourself?
Yeah.
You this is you. Like you will never be replicated.
Nah.
No one has come that has the same journey. Like in terms of the nuances, nothing has ever been the same. And the fact that you are saying your journey is not as good as this person that you see like on social media, or like being compared to your cousin, or like it just doesn't make sense.
No.
So I've learned to really streamline my focus. The thing where they say like slay in your lane.
Slay in your lane. Yeah, that's the new one.
Slay in your lane. Yes. I love that so much because I'm like, this is my blue ocean. You know?
Yes. And it's so vast, and it's like all yours. Yeah. But just because it's not quote unquote on the map yet, like you wanna bash it and not take advantage of it.
Yeah. I'm a huge fan of Beyonce for that same reason. I feel like she's the epitome for me of how when you are focused on yourself, you're able to do your best work. Yeah. Like with no sort of like precedent
and that's understanding that for me, because I feel like that point has been kind of hammered in my head this year.
Yeah.
And you learn to appreciate, aside from appreciating your own ocean, like you said, you learn to appreciate everyone else's so differently and uniquely, and you don't look, you're no longer, the noise doesn't make sense anymore. It's but like this is this person, this what they did.
They're telling the story.
Yeah, and it has nothing to do with the next person or myself or whatever. So it's like everything becomes beautiful suddenly without trying.
Yeah. I've always felt like the more you can look at a person who's telling their story through their own work, without like no preconceptions of who they are, is the most beautiful thing you can observe, because you are seeing them expressing themselves, but at the same time, I feel like I'm obliged to protect them. So like I'm constantly telling like my fellow artists, don't focus on the noise. Like don't focus on the noise. This is like you have to focus on your own work. Really, really dig deep into your own work. Be consumed by your art, because I felt like the more I do that, the better I feel of my own work. Yeah.
I feel like also the easier it gets to do it too.
Yeah. It gets easier to do, and also becomes more creative. Well, especially to me, because you would have like for example, I would write a short story, and then I'll say, oh, this short story would work even better as a short film, or maybe like I'll make it even shorter and into a poem. So like there's so many ways to develop your own work if you were just consumed by it.
That's the thing, and I think that's for me most recently with doing my other podcast. I feel like sometimes the part of the noise is, okay, you're doing a podcast with your own voice, that's weird. There's no, usually podcasts have other voices, so this doesn't make sense automatically. But what the thing in me is telling me to do is to sit in a room and talk on the mic. Yeah. But then my head then is like, but podcasts are usually more than one voice. No one wants to listen to you just talk or whatever. But then you start thinking of ways to like structure it in a way that other people might digest it easily on face value. But then that then messes up everything, and then and then it becomes hard. So
becomes unmanageable, because now you are not doing it like in the most pure form for
you. You're messing with the whole process, and like sure, you're in the studio and you're recording, but
you're unshwangering yourself.
You're de-shwangering yourself.
de-shwangering.
Yeah. No, that's. Do you recall a time when you de-shwangered yourself, or you were de-shwangered? Because sometimes other people do it to you, or
yeah. I remember when like after uni, I went to Toronto for laughs, because that's sort of like my grad gift to myself.
Oh, nice.
This is the first time I saw Trevor Noah, which is kind of nice. After uni, it became a point where I felt to other people I had changed, but then to myself I was like, this is me without the constraints of school. Like, this is me without context. This is Shwanga,
yeah,
with like no
filter,
no structure, no filter, and that felt almost like a betrayal to some people, and I feel so bad because to me it was just me, and now I'm trying to explain myself, which is again like the worst thing you can do.
Messing with the process.
The worst thing to do is saying, oh, maybe I need to tell you what like who I am, but you're like, I've known you for like 6-10 years, and ever since then I have felt just going forward, I would never do that to myself. Like I wouldn't be in a place where I am censoring myself, or I'm not telling you, like I'm not giving you 100% me, because death. I'm so sorry to make it into such a gloom topic, but
no, go there.
It plays such a huge part in my life.
Okay,
especially after my dad passed away at a young age.
Of course, yeah.
I have come to pushing myself to understand that you don't have time. Sincerely, like, we're just a dash.
Yeah.
The year we're born and the year we die, just a dash in between.
Yeah.
And you need to be who you are, because that's not censoring that is a mistake, because you're a gift.
Yep.
You truly are a gift, because there was no reason for you being here if you weren't going to impact other people. And the fact that you're here day in, day out, there are people affected by your art, your work. You're making a difference, and censoring yourself or putting yourself in a form that's, as you said, easily digestible, or I would say easily acceptable.
Yeah, acceptable.
Is a huge no-go for me.
Yeah, so I'm assuming this came with like the loss of some friendships and...
Yeah. Okay, now here's the thing. I'm a huge supporter of family.
Okay.
Like the word family for me means someone who are in your life, and the fact that they're there shouldn't be misconstrued with a word that has been bastardized by Facebook. Because you can unfriend someone,
yes,
but you can't unbrother someone or unsister someone. They're siblings, and I feel like if you feel like I'm no longer your friend, maybe we weren't in the first place.
Yeah. Again, I think it goes back to that whole idea of intent.
Intent.
Yeah, it's like if you really care for and appreciate someone, no matter what the relationship is on the outside, whether it's blood or it's a person, a girlfriend, boyfriend thing, whatever it is, if you didn't have that base level of truly, I just want this person to be okay and happy.
Yeah.
There's no, it doesn't make sense then for that thing to suddenly change and for you to unfriend someone.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense, because by calling them a friend, you're saying that you truly cared for the well-being of this person and stuff, but suddenly something happened and it can't change that quick. Of course, like if someone's abusive, you have to look into all that stuff, but it's like there has to be that intent of I want this person to be okay and happy and all that stuff. I think.
Yeah. And also, like, I've always been wary of the word friend because, like, it has the word end in it, and I'm like, maybe, like, there's an end to this. You know, like, are you befriending me because of like like your own reasons? Like, am I benefiting you for some time? Because people do that. Like, people will befriend someone for money, for status.
Networking.
Networking. Carry your card. Greet, shove a card into someone's face. And that's why, like, I'm constantly growing my own family. Because these are the people who make me feel human. You know,
that's what I'm saying. For me, it's like I'm collecting the tools to be able to be like to discern in my life who are the people that actually feed me in that sense and are actually. I don't think there's any other option if you're really trying to live a life that makes absolute sense and is the best version of whatever this thing is. It doesn't make sense to bring people close to you who are anything other than that.
Yes.
So I'm like, they can't be. There's no gray area in terms of like. These are friends, these are family. It's like I can't like say I care for my brother or my sister, and then I just kind of like my best friend. It's like that doesn't make for me. It's like it's all the same thing. These are people. How they came into your life, of course, that's different. But it's like right now in this moment, what is that person in your life? I think that's pretty much what it boils down to. Or at least that's how I'm starting to see it for myself.
And time also. Like people say, I've known this person for a long time.
Doesn't mean anything. People stay married for decades and hated each other for most time.
Which is kind of sad, eh? And because like when I went to Australia, I met this guy called Matt, and I know for a fact this guy has been this person that I had in mind, of a person, of how he lives, of how he performs his art, of his philosophy, but never met. And the moment I met him, I was like, oh, you're family. You know, like, we spend an entire night talking. And at his place. There's no limit to how, because some people click easier than other people. Some people, it just happens faster. Some people you need, like, a team building, ice breaking. And the fact that you need that's an issue.
It's a telling sign. That's so true, man. And I mean, with the females I have dealt with in my life, that's one thing I'm starting to realize and like recognize in terms of how I deal with the women I bring into my life, or the women that I have brought into my life in the past. It's like the person I'm seeing right now, it's just that same idea of it doesn't, especially when you're young, it's like relationship goals. Should I introduce them to my friends now, or all that stuff? It's like I'm in a place where I'm happy I related to her just purely. It was just like our souls. This sounds so like emo, but
go there.
Our souls kind of just aligned. Almost immediately. And I'm not saying I'm in love with her. She's gonna be my wife, but it's just she's there because that happened. She's not there. I'm not waiting for that to happen. She's not here so that I'm not keeping her around to see when that'll happen.
Or where will this go? Like she's already.
It just happened. Like when she's around me, it's just like. It is what it is, and it feels right. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And it's like, there was no magic word that either of us said or anything,
Nothing.
but it's just like, this is right.
Yeah.
This just feels right. That may change or whatever over time because it happens, but like, that's how I'm seeing it for myself right now.
A frequency is really important, especially because you are you don't want to go through the struggle of making that person like you just because you like them. But there are people who are you're conversing with, and they are getting you. They're fully receiving you in ways that you feel are comfortable, loving, and also precious.
Yeah, and safe.
Yeah. Like there's no mechanisms through which you are trying to guide this, or you're trying to play it safe.
That's the thing. Like, it doesn't matter how long we don't text or don't see each other. It's like our souls are still doing what they do. So whenever they're around each other, they'll do what they do.
Oh, that's beautiful.
So it's like, I cannot see her for a week and I'll miss her, but it's fine because our souls are doing what they do. Just let it do what it does. And like, yeah, sure, the human side is like, I really want to see you.
Yeah.
But I'm not bogged down with, I wonder if like this is gonna, because for some reason I used to feel like in the past with people I've dated, the longer you're away from them, the higher the risk of you guys not working out.
Oh yeah.
So it's like when you'd spend, the reason
out of
you'd
sight,
say
out of mind.
The reason I would feel like I miss you is because I feel like I'm losing you because I haven't seen you for long.
Oh yeah.
Not because I genuinely just want to like just express and be happy with you right now. It's just the fact that you've been away for a while and I don't know if you're gonna start liking me less, so I miss you. Like, come back so that the risk of me or you not liking me or whatever is lessened, kind of a thing.
Yeah.
So,
I feel like that has to do something with understanding who someone is at first sight, because like when you have to go through a process of like opening up, that becomes so hard when that person is away. And then you feel like, oh, you have to do that work again. Like you have to reorient yourself again to that person. That's why when I meet someone for the first time, and this I think has also scared a lot of first dates, because like you open up. I
can't help it either.
Like you open up, but like you don't do it to everyone because not everyone clicks in the same way. But like when you open up, you have these thoughts and emotions and just a sense of euphoria that you're expressing. And then when that person receives it, that's like the best feeling, because they're like, oh, you know, I'm not quote unquote like an insane person in front of you, you know. So that's it's really beautiful, man. Thanks so much for sharing that.
We'll cut that out. But props to her. Are you seeing anyone yourself, or I know your last show had something to do with this topic, so nice segue.
I feel like I'm seeing myself. I'm not sure if that makes sense. I feel like, because relationships are mirrors, and I'm thankful because the people who have come into my life have shown me a parts of me that maybe I was blind to. So like I'm just taking some time in sort of reorienting Ally Baharoon with Ally Baharoon.
Alright, so he is boycotting relationships.
No.
He can't commit, ladies. That's what he's saying. He's a rolling stone out here.
Oh my God. But yeah.
Nice, that's cool. Any cool projects coming up soon for yourself, or?
There's this play I want to write about billiards, because I made a video about 3 years ago, the story of billiards, where like the game of like pool, 8-ball pool, is sort of like the story of life.
Okay.
And like how like players and the balls and the sticks and the cue sticks and stuff. So I want to. And that video is actually like on YouTube. It's called like the Shwanga Show, the story of billiards.
Okay, nice.
And my aim for the play is taking that concept and now having like a real life table during the production.
Okay, nice.
Instead of just going through a philosophy of life. So and I'm trying to contextualize it with Napoleon's time in Egypt.
Wow, okay.
A bit of a stretch, but this is like Napoleon is leaving Egypt, going to France for the coup d'etat. But before he does that, like he plays a game of billiards in Egypt.
Oh,
so that's sort of like
okay.
Yeah,
nice. I like how you. I think I feel like there's a trend there with you taking things we see every day to explain this complicated stuff that we've been talking about that is hard to put into words.
Yeah.
Because like when I think about the examination, it was something. I mean, you took an exam room. It was an I don't remember exactly what the plot was, but it was an exam room and everything. But there was obviously it was a layered story. It wasn't just about an exam.
I think that's the way that like a lot of the stuff that I've consumed have pushed me to process things in a different form, and mainly like through the written form. I like my favorite example is an episode on Seinfeld, where the whole episode is them waiting for a table at a restaurant.
Okay.
Like they're in the lobby waiting for it. And that episode almost didn't get made because the producers were like, you can't let people watch half an hour of TV of people waiting people. Yeah. But like, it's what happens within that waiting time.
Yeah, it's necessary.
And that's like real life. Like people do wait for tables, people are in exam rooms.
It reminds me of the fly episode in Breaking Bad. I don't know if you've watched Breaking Bad.
No, I haven't yet.
But it's literally, I don't remember everything, but I remember there was a fly. They literally there would be this one scene, I think they would just focus on the fly.
Wow.
And just like, it was just a silent scene. There was this fly just doing what flies do. But it was like, just the way they did it, it's, when you do it the right way, it's so amazing what you can do with just blankness. And like, that's the first example I could think of out there that other people might relate to.
Yeah. I'll check that out. But like I try and tell my stories. Somebody mentioned this through a blend of compassion and absurdity, and I feel like those are actually like the two promoters that I go with, because people are like, you can't make an exam be absurd. Like, let me show you. Because there are ways where people lose their cool in exam halls. And simply because of the pressures of the examinees and the examiners in different ways. So it's the same thing that I want to do with this play is how can this game be like a motivator for like a military man like Napoleon? To go back to France and do the coup d'etat. Okay. So that's sort of like I'm still like in the research process for that. But
How long does it usually take you to come up with a fully developed play?
I would say, because like all of my my productions, be it like a play or like a film, a performance of any sort, they all come from stories. And then those stories like have been with me for a while, and they just sort of like germinate and marinate. Sorry, over and over until something happens where I'm like, oh, this is the perfect opportunity for this particular story.
Yeah, okay.
So it really ranges from a month to a year to 5.
Yeah. That makes sense. That makes a lot of sense. In talking about all your productions, I think it's only right that we give you a section to plug everything, like all your YouTube, your Instagram, all any outlets you want people to know about.
Yes, I am on Instagram and Twitter. And I see myself being on Twitter more, simply because like it's more literal form.
Okay.
And I feel like I can play more with words and stuff. And that's where like I try and exercise all my creative chops. It's on Twitter. It's at Venturally. So that's VENTURALLY, and that's like just like ventures. And
okay. Nice.
Venturally.
Okay.
And that's also my Instagram handle.
YouTube.
On my YouTube, I've made a couple of videos in the past where so like I want to make more videos. But now, like it's mainly me trying to provide the story and then trying to get a team of videographers. So I don't have like an active YouTube channel that might change in the future. But I do have this short film that's in the film festival.
Yes.
It is a story set in Cape Town that was inspired by the news that they were running out of water, and there's this water conservation and sanitation organization that's promoting a film festival to raise awareness on that. And that just clicked on me making like a 3-minute microfilm, they call it, where this guy is in a controlled environment where he has to pay for water, and that's like in the near future in Cape Town. And then something happens. You have to watch the video for the rest of that. It's a really short film. It's like a really short cliffhanger.
Super quick, yeah. No, I enjoyed it too.
Oh, I'm glad, man. I'm glad.
We could go on forever, but I think in the interest of time, I'll just cut it here for now.
How long have we gone for?
I have no idea. Probably like 2 hours at this point.
Oh, wow.
I think we're gonna see soon. But this was amazing though. I think.
Thanks.
I want to just acknowledge and thank you for coming today and giving me your time.
It was so much.
It's always so amazing.
So much pleasure.
Yeah, no, it's really great always speaking to you and just like
same here, buddy.
Yeah, I feel like these conversations we have tend to always recalibrate something in me, and it's like I think the reason I've realized I've been talking to a lot of artists lately is obviously because I'm toying with the idea that I am one too.
Oh, you are.
And I never gave myself the permission to be one for the longest.
You want to know when I knew I was an artist? Is when I was like sending some money to my brother from Western Union, and the Western Union clerk asked me, so what do you do for a profession?
That's actually a good one, because I go to Western Union too. Yeah.
And I said, I'm a writer and a performer.
Yeah.
And he's like, he looked at me with a blank face, like, "Oh, so you're an artist?"
Yeah.
I'm like, "Oh, yeah.
I guess
so. I guess so, because you have this preconception of what an artist is, and you feel like you're not one.
Exactly.
But like you are, because you are making something that did not exist before.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, and in trying to not interrupt with that process, I hope to create more and actually like give people my honest view. And I think that's something that I've always seen you do, and maybe I've just always admired from a distance, and maybe that's also the reason why I've kept up with a lot of your journeys, because I think a lot of the people who I see doing these things have low-key given me permission, or were the things I needed to slowly give myself permission, because these are people I relate to, people I know, people that come from where I come from sometimes, and it's like just that process of like, okay, I mean, you see other people doing their thing, and it's like, why can't you? Just it's simple but also very complicated at the same time. But I just want to say thank you for being that person for me.
Thanks
or
so
one
much
of those people.
for letting me know, because
Yeah.
I feel like that's one way which I can constantly, like the give and take of artists is, I want to encourage more people to tell the story.
No,
so.
you are. I wish you all the best with everything. I want you to
Same
keep
here,
doing
man.
your thing.
Likewise.
You're giving people like myself permission to be
man.
weird. And yeah, I know it's a lot of pressure, but basically, if I fail, it's your fault. But nah, I really appreciate everything you do.
Much
and
love, man. Much love.
Good luck with Ramadan and everything. I know you're in
Thanks.
fasting.
Yep.
Shout
2
out,
more weeks.
Yeah, shout out to everyone else out there who also practices the faith and is fasting or had fasted, depending on when this comes out.
I hope you're fasting in more kind of time zones.
Yes. It's almost summertime here, so you're fasting for like
18
hours. That's crazy, and you still did this. So I'm very grateful.
This is a relief. This is good.
Yeah, no, I feel good about this, and I really can't wait for these episodes to come out. So,
Amen.
Thank you very much to Ally Baharoon for joining us today. I'm your host, Nyx, and shout out to everyone out there that understands some of the things we've talked about, that it resonates with you, and I think it's always an amazing experience when two souls lock in on something, and I feel like that happened.
Happy Network.